Reiki, the healing touch. To understand Reiki, let's better understand the word. The word Reiki is made of two kanji, which are Japanese ideograms. An ideogram is a written character symbolizing an idea without indicating the sounds used to say it. So the word Reiki is represented by two kanji, Rei and Ki. Let's first look at Rei. The basic interpretation of Rei is universal or present everywhere. But if we dive a little deeper, we can understand each part of the kanji. The top piece of the kanji means clouds or heavens, or the spiritual realm beyond the ego. The bottom portion of the kanji represents earth and the layers of soil and stone. In the middle section of the kanji, the three squares represent the three aspects of being human: the mind, body, and spirit. So the kanji Rei, in summation, is the healer, bridging wisdom, healing, and guidance from heaven to earth. The kanji Ki means life energy. It's like the Chinese word qi. Living things have life energy circulating through and around them. Life energy plays an important role in all that we do. It is the primary energy of our emotions, our thoughts, and our spiritual life. If we have a low or restricted life energy, that leaves us vulnerable to illness. So how do we keep our Ki healthy? Ki is influenced by the mind. Positive, healthy thoughts? The Ki becomes stronger. And that's called Genki. Negative or unhealthy thoughts? The Ki becomes weakened or unhealthy, and that's called Byoki. So, Rei Ki means connecting spirit to earth in an effort to heal and align our life force energy. How did Reiki start? Well, the practice of laying on hands as a healing method dates back thousands of years. However, there have only been 4 other Reiki practices in existence. They were founded in Japan after extensive research, and it's believed that because of conditions post-World War II and the fact that they were never brought to the West, they became obsolete. The Reiki practice that is so widely known today, it is the most practiced art form in the world, is on account of Mikao Uzui. Uzui was on a quest, but not for an art of healing. He was on a quest for a special spiritual state, and that was called Anshin Ditsume. In this special state of enlightenment, one is always at peace regardless of what is taking place in the outer world. The peace maintains itself without any effort on the part of the individual. I think it's worth regarding this blissful state of existence is what Uzui was on a quest for when he discovered the healing art of Reiki. He had been searching for this special state of enlightenment for years, and after years of not having success, he was advised by his mentors to try more extreme methods. So in 1922, he went to a sacred mountain in Japan prepared to die. He fasted and meditated, and on the 21st day, a powerful light entered through the top of his head, and Reiki was born. Uzui was truly on the precipice of death. He had been fasting for 21 days, he was famished, and he thought he was going to die. And that is when the Reiki energy came to him. So miracles come when we let go. He knew that this Reiki energy was special and profound because there were subsequently 3 miracles that he was blessed with. And the first was that he was able to get down off of the mountain with energy and fervor after 21 days of not eating. So let's explore a little bit more about the origins of Reiki, beginning with Mikao Uzui and understanding how it became one of the most widely practiced art forms in the whole world. As we know, Uzui was attuned in 1922. Attunement is how a practitioner receives the healing energy of Reiki. I like to think of it almost like a lid on the top of our heads that is closed, and the attunement process allows that lid to be opened so that we become conduits of that energy. And as a conduit, the borrowed benefit is that while offering healing to another individual, the practitioner is also healed. The divine energy is flowing through them, and thereby they get some of the healing benefit. So Mikao Uzui taught Reiki to a lot of people, but it was Hayashi who was called the second Grand Reiki Master. Hayashi made a lot of notable contributions to Reiki. First, he allowed the people being healed to lay down instead of sit. Second, he offered healing from more than one practitioner at the same time. And third, it is believed he is responsible for the hand positions that are associated with practicing Reiki. Hayashi was attuned in 1925, and he died in 1940 prematurely. He had traveled to Hawaii intermittently to spread news of Reiki, and upon the beginnings of World War II, the Japanese government pressed him for intel as to where they could most effectively bomb. When he was unwilling to provide this information, the Japanese government labeled him a traitor, and he therefore, as well as his family, faced severe punishment both from the government and from society. In an effort to save his dignity as well as keep his family safe, he performed an honorable suicide. His act of courage and his integrity are noteworthy. He was responsible for attuning both Chiyoko Yamaguchi and Hawayo Takata. Yamaguchi is most widely known for maintaining and preserving the tradition of Uzui's Reiki in Japan. She was attuned when she was only 17 years old in 1938, and her son grew up with solely Reiki practices. He became a Reiki master as well and still practices in Japan to this day. Their purity and attention to the detail and tradition are what made them so important to the practice. Hawayo Takata was attuned by Hayashi just before Yamaguchi, and she is the reason that we have Reiki in the West. She lived in Hawaii but went to Japan in search of alternative methods of healing after it was discovered she had a stomach tumor. She heard a voice 3 times that said, "Do not get surgery, there is another way," and upon going to Japan, discovered Reiki. She was so affected and grateful for the results that she had that she wanted to become a Reiki master, and she wanted to spread these teachings in the West. She worked hard to maintain the tradition and honor the purity of the practice. One of the people that she attuned was William Lee Rand. He has devoted his entire life to Reiki. He has developed additional forms of Reiki practice, and we are going to look at his lineage a little more deeply right now. So Uzui attuned Hayashi, who attuned both Takata and Yamaguchi, and both Takata and Yamaguchi attuned William Lee Rand. He was attuned first by Takata, and then, upon devoting his life to Reiki, in order to be thorough, went to Japan to also receive attunement from Yamaguchi. So your Reiki lineage will be just that, with one more step. Ms. Anna Twinney. She herself was attuned by William Lee Rand and could be responsible for your attunement. This is the text that we used, written by William Lee Rand, and is referenced throughout this presentation. So a human Reiki session is not so different from a horse Reiki session. However, there are additional precautions and things to take note of in a horse Reiki session, so that will be our focus. To start, however, things to know apply to both horse and human. Reiki can never cause harm. Reiki channels a universal energy, so it will not deplete the practitioner because it is drawn upon a source that is divine and higher than self. Reiki has its own intelligence, meaning that if you're offering Reiki to one area of the body, but it is needed in another area of the body, it will go there. So there's no way to ever do it wrong. And lastly, anyone can be successful when practicing Reiki. As long as we drop into our heart space and trust our intuition, we can't do any of it wrong. Some of the benefits, more specifically aligned to that of a horse, is that it maintains our general well-being. It will support an injury or an ailment, whether mental, emotional, or physical. It will support a performance. It will help ease separation anxiety, whether it be from a herd or a foal from its mother. It will relax a nervous or spooky horse. It will help break inappropriate behavior patterns, and it will offer support during times of grief or when crossing over. Because we are offering Reiki to a horse, we want to make sure to be safe. So some protocols to be aware of. It is good to do Reiki with a halter on and the lead rope either hung over your arm or ground tied. You do not want to tie your horse because you want to give your horse space to express how they're feeling if they're responding to the Reiki energy in a certain way. You do not shut your eyes or kneel because these are never safe things to do around the horse. And while the Reiki energy and the practice of the Reiki session might feel very peaceful, at any moment the energy could either become overwhelming for the horse or they could be affected by an outside stimuli. So we do not want to do anything that could put us in harm's way. We want to keep our movements smooth so that if they are enjoying the energy, they can relax into it without feeling startled by our movement. And standing at the shoulder is the safest place to be. There are very few situations in which we would not want to do Reiki. However, we do not want to do Reiki if we do not have permission from either the horse or the owner. We do not want to do Reiki if it's too close to the event date and we're unsure of how the horse will respond. And we do not want to do Reiki if we're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So let's talk about what it looks like to have a Reiki session with a horse. The first thing we need to do is gain permission. We need to gain permission from both the guardian and the animal that we're working with. Now, to gain permission from the guardian, we simply ask. But to gain permission from the animal, we can muscle test. And the muscle test that we use for this situation would be a sway test. Here are the steps of a sway test as outlined by Rose O'Connor in a Reach Out to Horses blog. However, the basic premise is that we stand grounded and ask the question to the animal, would you like to receive Reiki energy healing from me? And if we feel a pull forward, that indicates a yes. And if we feel a push backwards, that indicates a no. Wild animals do not need permission from a guardian, but they do need permission from us. And property owners can give permission for boarded animals. So the question, as I said, to ask would be, would you like to receive Reiki energy healing from me? And you invite them to release what no longer serves them. The second step would be to have a horse walk to assess their physical condition, their behaviors, and areas that may need attention. This will just help inform your practice, although the Reiki energy will find where it needs to heal. It just helps indicate to you where you might want to concentrate and what behaviors you might be navigating. The third step of a session would be to do a biosyn scan. In this, you hover your hands over the body of the animal. You feel for warm spots, which would indicate inflammation, and cold spots, which would indicate blockages. A practice that Anna advises is to use one of your hands to hold space while the other scans as if painting the horse. You do not put contact on the horse, however, during this practice. This helps inform where you might want to concentrate some of your energy sessions. Step 4 would be to check the chakras of the horse. Chakras are energy centers in the body. They correspond to physical organs. Chakra in Sanskrit means wheel of light. If all of our wheels are spinning in a clockwise fashion, then they are functioning healthily and will continue to be a working, productive system. However, if one of the chakras is either stopped or spinning backward, then it will disrupt the system. I think that as cogs in a machine, if one of the cogs is either stuck or spinning the wrong way, it affects the productivity of the whole machine. That's why chakras are so important to our health and our overall well-being. Healthy chakras allow the energy to flow, and unhealthy chakras create energy blocks, and this is what makes us ill. So how do we check our chakras? We can use a pendulum to assess whether the chakras are open or closed, or unbalanced. This is one of the indicators, although it's always good to check in with your personal pendulum and ask it to show you what a yes or a no looks like. Typically, however, a yes is clockwise, a no is counterclockwise. A shake may be that it's indicating an imbalance, and a stop may be that the chakra is blocked. To check, it's nice to try one of these 3 strategies. Either place one hand on the chakra while the other hand holds the pendulum. Centered and grounded, ask if the chakra is opened or closed and see how the pendulum responds. Or you can hold the pendulum directly over the chakra area. And the last strategy might be to think about the chakra while holding the pendulum in one hand, and then I often put my palm flat under the pendulum, the palm of the other hand, and see, as I think about each chakra, which way the pendulum reacts. These are some of the body systems affected, and these are the chakras associated with them. If the chakra is blocked or unbalanced, it could be shown with some of the indicators listed on the left. If 2 practitioners are working to heal one species, then we need to blend our energy. Our energy is like different dialects, and without blending, it could be uncomfortable for the individual we're practicing on. So to blend, one person holds their palms out flat, the other hovers their palms on top. We stay grounded and focused and feel the energy that's created. You continue to feel that energy until it subsides. I'll let Anna tell you a little more about how that feels. Number 6 is actually beginning the Reiki treatment. And in this process, you want to try to balance the chakras that might have been unbalanced, offer to support to some of the areas that maybe felt inflamed with the Biosin scan, and just in general, offer the Reiki energy. And that is done through the hands. Sensations that a Reiki practitioner may feel in their hands as they practice include tingling, maybe pulsing in the palms, warmth in the palms, and any other variety. It is pretty personal. Those 3 are the most common, but that doesn't mean that they're exclusively the only ways that the Reiki practitioner might experience. The horse will respond to the Reiki with Reiki registers, and that can include any of the following. For example, in their head, they're going to maybe drop their head and have a soft neck. Their ears may be flappy, their eyes may be glazed or closed, their nostrils might be flared, Their mouth may be licking and chewing. I get some really big yawns sometimes. Their hoof might be rolled under, and if it's rolled under on the near side, that's a compliment to you. Their body may indicate that their muscles are relaxed, but their skin may flicker under the palms sometimes in response to the energy. The geldings may drop, and here's an important detail. They may not masturbate. They can drop, but we do not allow them to masturbate while we're practicing. If they do, we just step away. We don't want to be associated in that way with this practice. They may pass gas or poop, and their breathing may increase or be a little bit irregular. This article in the Equine Wellness magazine featured Anna and her practice of love lessons. In love lessons, we practice focusing on the heart chakra. We remember that the heart chakra can be very personal and leave a horse feeling very vulnerable. So in order to not be too invasive, we begin at the brachial chakra. It is not one of the more common chakras, but it affords us a way to approach the heart chakra in a more respectful and mindful manner, and hopefully graduate to the withers with one hand and to the sternum with the other, so that we can offer healing to the heart chakra. This mindful exercise affords you the opportunity to connect with your horse in a way you might not have previously thought possible. Eventually, it will become clear that your Reiki session is coming to an end, and at that point, you can always check in with another sway test to confirm that the horse is in fact done receiving Reiki. But these are some signs that might indicate that your session is coming to a close. The horse may walk away, turn around, your intuition may indicate that the session is done, or the horse may nip at your sleeves. It is important, however, to note that if a horse is walking away, it could also mean that they're releasing some energy, or they just need a brief break. And if they turn around, it could mean that they just are asking for Reiki on a different part of their body. So be mindful, check in with your intuition, and trust that you will be able to sense when it is that the horse is asking for the session to be completed. After you're sure that the session is over, retest the chakras. Using the pendulum, revisit each of the chakras to confirm that the areas of blockage and imbalance were released and that you have done everything you need to get the energy flowing freely in the horse again. In closing, it's nice to do a bladder sweep. In a bladder sweep, your two hands will follow the line of the horse to clear the energetic debris, smooth the aura, and connect the energy. You do this 3 times. This is the bladder meridian, and you're going to follow that by hovering your hands over the horse, not actually touching the horse. If the horse walks away and indicates that they're not interested in receiving the bladder sweep, that is okay. You do not need to chase them. It's just a nice way to close if possible. In closing, a few final details. This is an intimate and special time with your horse, and it makes your horse a little bit vulnerable. So we want to keep them engaged in the session and participating in the session, but we do not reprimand them. So if you are holding the lead or have the lead draped around your arm, you can redirect their nose, but you will not reprimand them. You do not want to open them and invite them to be vulnerable and then shut them down. Some horses may reveal preferences as to how they choose to receive Reiki energy. If they like secondhand Reiki, that means that they don't directly enjoy receiving the Reiki energy healing, but they may stand near another horse who is receiving the healing, getting the byproduct of the healing from that horse. They also may be Reiki junkies, on the other hand. They may choose to get as much Reiki as they can and can't seem to get enough. Reiki stalkers, after a session is complete, follow the practitioner around as if they want more. In a conveyor belt, the practitioner may be with another horse and look up and see that there is a line of horses waiting. So in this situation, I was practicing Reiki on this horse, and at the conclusion of our session, I looked up and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses trotting towards me, and they stopped right in front of me and lined themselves up to receive my Reiki energy. It was an undeniable example of the power and benefit that this offers to the horses. Sessions may be a few minutes to many hours depending on the need of the horse, so make sure you leave yourself enough time and space so that you do not need to cut sessions short. This is one area in which we are offering our horses something. In a world where we often walk into the field and let them know what we want to do, this is something we offer to them. So make sure you leave enough time and space to fully see it through. Sometimes the proximity may be too invasive to do directly, so you can try beaming your Reiki energy. It still comes from your palms, but you're offering it from a distance. Beaming can be seen here. My friend is beaming Reiki energy to a group of mares and foals who were initially extremely hesitant to allow us anywhere near them. However, after a little bit of time beaming the Reiki energy, they accepted Reiki session. And the next day, upon going to their field to offer more Reiki, they not only remained where they were, but remained lying down in their most vulnerable position, allowing me to not only approach them, but lay hands on for a Reiki session. The drastic change in their perception of my presence could only be attributed to offering them the Reiki energy. It was undeniable how much the Reiki had affected their connection with me. I was humbled to even have the mare allow the foal to suckle in my presence. If you try too hard, you may push the horses away. We know that horses are very truthful and authentic, and if you do not show up as your authentic self, it will not communicate positively to them. So trust that Reiki cannot be done wrong, and show up in an honest way so that you don't push them away with your efforts. And lastly, as much as this is something we hope to be able to offer them, as usual, they sometimes choose to surprise us and offer us Reiki healing. They do this by using their nose to balance our chakras, and with their fierce intuition, they know when we need it most, just as Crystallis did here with Anna. This was an amazing and profound moment in which Anna was giving a demonstration of obstacle course at Liberty, and this incredibly athletic horse was not performing or responding or partnering in the way that many of us anticipated. We were perplexed, and upon giving him space to sort of express what it was he was trying to say, he approached Anna and offered her a healing session. It was a peaceful, quiet, profound, authentic, beautiful moment to observe. And when he was done, he was ready to participate. He was ready to partner. He was ready to show off all the athleticism we knew he was capable of. So yet again, one more instance in which the undeniable, incredible effects of Reiki were very, very obvious to me, made possible by these magnificent animals. I hope you enjoy your journey through Reiki and find peace and solace in its healing powers.